In today's video, I'll show you the most important bodyweight movements, how to find the right progression and how to master them. You really don't need a gym to achieve your goals, whether it's gaining muscle, getting stronger, losing weight, or simply becoming fitter and healthier overall. It's much more sustainable to understand and master the basic compound movements for each muscle group than to know hundreds of fancy exercises or routines that quickly become overwhelming. Every exercise can be scaled from a complete beginner to an advanced athlete. Some exercises can be adjusted directly by changing certain parameters, while others have different variations to meet your individual level. But please don't feel overwhelmed, especially if you're just starting out. You really just need to practice the basic variation of each exercise until it becomes too easy. Don't overcomplicate things, simple rules and consistency wins. Of course, your body functions as a whole, and I encourage you to always train it that way. With bodyweight training, you'll never truly isolate one muscle completely. However, for practical reasons, it's helpful to divide your training into different body parts. The most common and effective division is between upper and lower body exercises, and more specifically into push and pull movements for the upper body and leg and core exercises for the lower body. With that, you'll cover your whole body holistically and avoid training imbalances. For all exercises in this video, you'll need either no equipment or just very simple everyday items you can find at home or outdoors. For example, if an elevated surface is required, that could be anything from a table to a low bar, a bench, or even a tree branch. Alright, let's get into it. We'll begin with the upper body push exercises. The first one is a movement everyone knows, and one of the most powerful bodyweight exercises, the push-up. It primarily targets your chest and triceps and also your shoulders. Everyone can perform push-up with the right progression. For the inclined push-up, place your hands on an elevated surface. This reduces the load and makes it much easier. The higher the surface and the larger the angle between you and the ground, the easier the push-up becomes. The easiest progression is to start pressing against a wall. Just try out for yourself which progression suits your current level. The one where you can perform up to about 15 repetitions before reaching muscle failure. The next progression is of course the standard push-up on the ground. Place your hands shoulder width apart, keep your body straight, lower down with control and press back up. Always make sure to use the full range of motion. All the way down and all the way up. Once you've mastered the standard push-up, you can place your feet on an elevated surface to increase the difficulty. That's the decline push-up. The higher the surface, the harder it becomes. This variation also puts slightly more emphasis on your upper chest. Next in line is the archer push-up. Here you shift the focus to one arm at a time while the other arm mainly stabilizes. Again, you can adjust the difficulty by elevating your hands or feet. And finally, the one-arm push-up, a highly advanced movement that challenges your upper body and at the same time massively strengthens your core and stabilizing muscles. In this variation, you perform the push-up with one arm at a time and then switch sides. The second push exercise focuses more on the shoulders, the Pike Push Up. This movement mimics the overhead pressing motion and is one of the best bodyweight exercises to build shoulder strength. Start in a downward dog-like position with your hips raised high and your arms straight. From here, bend your elbows and lower your head towards the ground. Then press back up through your shoulders. Make sure your elbows don't flare out to the sides, instead keep them angled slightly backwards to target your shoulders more effectively. To make it easier, you can elevate your hands on the surface, similar to the regular push-up. Once you've built enough strength, you can increase the difficulty by elevating your feet. The higher your feet, the steeper the angle and the more the exercise targets your shoulders. As a final complementary push exercise, we have dips. You can perform them on parallel bars or between two sturdy surfaces or chairs. For an easier variation, place your hands on an elevated surface behind you and bend your legs in front of you. Lower down with control until your shoulders reach about elbow level, then press yourself back up. Dips mainly target your triceps, lower chest and front shoulders, making them the perfect addition for your push routine. Let's move into the pull exercise group. These movements complement the push exercises by primarily targeting your upper back, including the lats and traps, your biceps and your rear shoulders. By changing your grip, you can shift the focus with a pronated grip, palms facing forward, or upward in the case of rows. You'll emphasize the back muscles more. With a supinated grip, palms facing towards you, you'll place more focus on the biceps and forearms. The first pull progression is the bodyweight row. For this exercise, you either need a low or medium height bar, or you can simply wrap a towel around a tree, a beam, or even around door handles. Just make sure it's stable and can safely support your weight. Grab the towel or bar, pull yourself up, and lower yourself back down with control. To adjust the difficulty, change the angle of your body. The lower you are to the ground, and the smaller the angle between your body and the floor is, the more challenging the movement becomes. You can also adjust the intensity by using a higher or lower bar, or by stepping your feet further forward or backward. If your setup only allows for a fixed angle, you can bend your knees and bring your feet closer in to make it easier. Pay attention to the position of your palms, facing downwards for a pronated row or upwards for a supinated row. This small change shifts the focus between your back and biceps. You can either alternate your grip between sets or simply treat the two grip variations as separate exercises. If you're using a bar or tree branch that isn't completely horizontal like in my case, just switch sides after each set to avoid creating imbalances. Once you've built enough strength with bodyweight rows, the next progression is pull-ups and chin-ups, the vertical pulling variations. Pull-ups are one of the most fundamental and well-known upper body exercises, yet most people require some basic pulling strength training before being able to perform even a single pull-up. They primarily work your lats and upper back, with additional engagement from your biceps, shoulders and core. For performing a pull-up, keep your shoulders engaged and your chest slightly lifted. Don't just pull with your arms. Pull up as high as you can and lower yourself back down with control. Go all the way down until you're fully hanging and repeat. Like always, make sure to use the full range of motion. If you're not yet able to perform a full pull-up, start with negative pull-ups. Jump or step up to the top position and slowly lower yourself down with control. Focus on lowering down as slow as you can to get the most out of it. Once you can perform several slow negatives, start working on full pull-ups with proper form. If you still struggle to progress into full pull-ups, use resistance bands for assistance. And if regular pull-ups finally become too easy, you can always add weight, for example by wearing a backpack filled with water bottles. The other pull-up variation is called chin-ups. The movement pattern is very similar to pull-ups, but with a supinated grip, meaning your palms facing towards you. Like with rows, this shifts the emphasis more towards your biceps and forearms, while still strongly engaging your back. Again, focus on a full range of motion, all the way up until your chin gets close to the bar, and all the way down with control. Like with pull-ups, you can also start with negative chin-ups, jump or step up to the top position and slowly lower yourself down with control. And then gradually build the strength to perform full repetitions. Now we move on to the lower body, starting with legs. The first exercise is squats, the most fundamental movement for developing strength, stability and balance in your legs and whole lower body. Squats can be performed in several variations, making them suitable for complete beginners as well as advanced athletes. We begin with a regular bodyweight squat. Keep your body upright, your feet about shoulder width apart, and lower down until your thighs are roughly parallel to the ground. Focus on a stable, controlled movement and keep the weight evenly distributed across your feet. Once it feels comfortable and easy, slow down the tempo to increase time under tension. You'll be surprised how much of difference the speed of execution makes in difficulty. These slow squats build control and deep strength. Lower down even slower than before and rise up very slowly. The next progression is jumping squats, a more explosive variation that develops power and coordination and further intensifies strength development. This exercise requires your full attention to form and dynamics to avoid injuries. Start with jumping very lightly and slowly, then build your way up to more dynamics and speed. Focus on soft landings and smooth transitions between reps. Once you've built enough strength and stability, you can move to assisted single leg squats. This exercise helps you develop unilateral strength and control. Use a surface like a bench or box to lightly touch the ground with your other foot for balance. And if required, some lifting assistance, but only use as much help as you really need. Step up to the surface and lower down with just one leg. Again, very controlled and focused. Keep the good form and try to use the full range of motion. And of course, once you've reached fatigue with one leg, switch sides. And finally, the full single leg squat or pistol squat. This advanced variation challenges your legs, balance and mobility all at once. And it is at least as challenging and rewarding as a weighted squat in the gym. If you have any stability issues or want to shift the focus more towards muscle building and less on stabilization, you can hold onto a wall or tree or anything else for support. But make sure to use this assistance only for balance and let the strength come fully from your legs. Again, aim to perform the same number of reps for each leg to avoid imbalances. If one of your legs is stronger for whatever reason, it will balance out over time, especially when performing these unilateral exercises. The next exercise is lunges. This shifts the focus more to your quads, glutes and hip stabilizers. Lunges train your legs individually and help improve balance, coordination and overall lower body control. We begin with regular lunges. Take a long step forward, lower yourself down with control until your front thigh is roughly parallel to the ground, then rise back up and repeat with the other side. Try to use the full range of motion and tune into your body to find which range of motion feels natural. If you have any knee problems, make sure your front knee stays above the ankle. Your back knee may come close to the floor without touching it. Switch legs after each repetition. Move slowly and focus on control, keeping both legs active throughout the movement. Once you've gotten used to the regular lunge and can perform several reps with good form, you may progress to the dynamic lunge. Step forward and backward in a continuous motion with gentle jumping. This version adds rhythm, coordination and endurance and intensifies the load on your muscles. The next progression is the Bulgarian split squat. It targets your glutes even more and is a highly effective lower body exercise. Place your back foot on an elevated surface, take a controlled step forward with your front foot, then lower yourself down and press back up, similar to a regular lunge. This time you train one leg at a time for practical reasons. As with all unilateral exercises, perform the same number of reps on each leg to keep your body balanced. The next leg exercise is the calf raise. This one strengthens your calves and lower legs and helps improve ankle stability. That's also important for balance and performance in movements like squats and lunges. Well-developed calves not only look aesthetic but are also crucial for functional strength. They play an important role in running, especially in forefoot running and in jumping. Stand tall with your feet about hip width apart. Press through the balls of your feet and lift your heels as high as you can. Then slowly lower back down with control. Focus on the full range of motion and controlled movement. If you want to make it more challenging, you can perform calf raises on an elevated surface so your heels can drop slightly below your toes. The next progression is the single leg calf raise, where you lift with only one leg. This makes the exercise much harder and more effective. This unilateral movement also trains your balance and strengthens the mind-muscle connection. Because of the balance required, you may want to hold onto a tree, wall or anything stable with one hand when starting out. And finally, you can perform single leg calf raises on an elevated platform, allowing your heel to drop below your toes and further increasing the load. Of course, as always, if that still isn't challenging enough, you can add weight, for example by wearing a backpack filled with water bottles, books or anything heavy. The final leg exercise group targets your posterior chain, mainly your glutes, hamstrings and lower back. For the glute bridge, lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet about hip width apart. Keep your arms relaxed by your sides, and from here press through your heels and lift your hips up. At the top, squeeze your glutes, then lower back down slowly with control. Focus on driving the movement from your hips. This helps you activate your glutes properly and keeps the right tension. Once that feels easy, you can progress to the single leg glute bridge. Lift one foot off the ground and perform the same movement with just one leg. This challenges your stability and increases the intensity for your working leg. Try to keep your hips working and avoid twisting your body. The next progression of this exercise is called hip thrusts. For these, place your upper back and shoulders on a bench, box or any stable elevated surface. Bend your knees and lift your hips up like with the glute bridge. Squeeze your glutes at the top before lowering back down. To increase the challenge, move to single leg hip thrusts. Lift one leg off the ground and perform the same movement using just one leg. This variation builds maximum strength and balance while deeply engaging your core and stabilizing muscles. As always, perform the same number of reps on each side to maintain balance and symmetry. Alright, let's move to the final part, the core exercises. The core describes your whole midsection, particularly your abs and lower back. It's very important for stabilization and is often a limiting factor in other exercises. Although the core is engaged in every bodyweight exercise because it's always required for stability, it still makes sense to include a few dedicated core movements to further improve strength and overall control. The first core exercise is the leg raise. The beginner variation is lying leg raises with bent knees. Start by lying flat on your back, then lift your legs towards your chest with your knees bent. Try to squeeze your abs at the top as much as possible, then lower your legs back down with control, and repeat. Once that feels easy, you can straighten your legs and move on to full lying leg raises. The next progression is hanging leg raises. For these, hang from a bar or a sturdy tree branch and perform the same movement. You'll need a bit more control here to avoid swinging. Make sure the movement comes from your core, not from momentum. Start with bent knees, lifting them up towards your chest and squeezing your abs at the top. Then lower back down slowly and controlled. Once you've mastered that, move on to straight leg raises. Perform the same movement with a squeeze at the top. You can also start a set with straight legs and switch to bent knees once you begin to fatigue. The next core exercise group focuses more on the upper abs and overall body coordination. Starting with crunches. Lie on your back with your knees bent and your feet flat on the ground. Place your hands behind your head or crossed over your chest, and from here lift your upper body off the ground by contracting your abs. Keep the movement controlled, let it come from your core and focus on the squeeze in your abdominal muscles. Once you can perform controlled crunches easily, progress to V-ups. In this variation, your upper and lower body move together. Extend your arms behind your head and your legs straight in front of you. Now lift both your legs and your torso simultaneously while bending your knees. And your hands are reaching toward your feet at the top. Then lower back down slowly with control and repeat. V-ups require coordination and balance. It's not about speed, but about maintaining balance and tension throughout the movement. The next progression is the jackknife. It's similar to a V-up, but here you focus on keeping your legs as straight as possible. The increased leverage makes the movement harder and deepens the training effect. You can work your way into this progression by gradually straightening your legs and reducing the bend over time. These exercises teach your body to move as a unit and build deep core strength that supports every other movement you do. Finally, to balance out the front core work, we'll activate the muscles on the back of your body, mainly your lower back, glutes and hamstrings, with an exercise called Superman. Lie flat on your stomach with your arms extended in front of you, and from here lift your arms, chest and legs simultaneously off the ground. Hold the top position for a moment, then lower back down with control. Focus on squeezing your glutes and lower back to lift yourself up rather than arching your spine. It's a small and controlled movement, but very effective, especially for your lower back. This exercise strengthens your posterior chain, supports spinal health, and improves balance between your front and back core. It's also an excellent exercise to improve your posture. That's it for today's video. These are the most important bodyweight exercises and progressions to build real functional strength, take care of your physical and mental health, and shape a body you truly love. You don't need a gym or fancy equipment, just your body, a little space, the knowledge from this video, and of course consistency. If you practice these movements with awareness and patience, you'll become stronger, more balanced, and more connected to your body over time. I hope this video gave you some clarity and inspiration for your own training journey. If you enjoyed it, feel free to leave a like and let me know your thoughts in the comments. Subscribe to my channel to stay tuned for future videos about fitness, mindfulness, nutrition and living a healthy and fulfilling life. Thank you so much for watching until the end and see you in the next video.